This is
Oh,
the
I
next.
like this guy. Look at that cutie. Oh,
So one thing that I've always noticed really quick about the guys who are being held captive, the guys who are supposedly against their will, there's forces working against them. They're the chain, but the chains are not
yeah.
screwing their neck. They could easily get out of this.
I've seen spinals.
Like,
This
so
man's
this
a
guy,
gold bricker.
his tail's being set on fire. He's like, oh my,
His little tail. Oh,
but he could leave at any point in time. The addiction, this is like the negative part. This is like the struggle. If something that's just you're hitting your head against the wall and you're not seeing that there's a fucking door you can open and walk through. So like that's really the devil's card is it's like, yes, there's temptation. Yes, there's something that's pulling you back and saying you can't do something. You can't, like get out of this. You've got to. So like it's like kind of essentially pulling you back from that teal, that like I'm trying to heal myself, uncovering all these obstacles, limiting yourself and making yourself a victim to these circumstances and not trying to work out a way out of it when there's a clear way out of it. You just, take the chain off your fucking head. Like it just goes straight through. So that's like the biggest thing I've ever noticed from the devil card.
so
Um,
would D-Devil apply to tunnel vision,
Kind of,
obsession, vengefulness, revenge,
yeah,
revengeance,
something that's like,
a
whenever you're
grudge?
trying to grow, it's uncomfortable, it's scary. So it's kind of trying to pull you back from
Okay.
what you're developing, what you're learning. So it's like anytime you try to do some self-care, some work on yourself to get better, you're like, I want to get this better job, but like I keep catching this catch 22 where I have to know something to do something and I have to do something in order to know something. So like, how do I get out of this? And
It's the
trying to
pull
work through
towards
that
the
obstacle.
backslide.
Yeah, versus, somebody who can just like either let the devil take over and then like or let the card take over and kind of pull you back into that rut that you're trying to grow out of. I don't know if that necessarily fits in with a meme with the exception of I feel like it's kind of foreshadowing. When you get to the other side, you realize I went through all of this struggle when something was so fucking easy, like looking back on it with hindsight. So I have to remember that that's something that happens every single time. It goes through every single person's brain. It's not just mine. Sometimes I'm going to, talk to somebody who's facing this huge obstacle that I'm going to think, oh, this is so easy. You just have to do this. And it's a real general struggle. So it's kind of like foreshadowing, like the transition from developing the I, me, my and the assessment of, healing yourself throughout all those negative like experiences. But it's also recognizing that other people do that too. So I feel like that one's kind of, in a way, it's transitioning into the turquoise from the teal. But it's just a little taste. I feel like we're going to go
Yeah.
a lot of back and forth with that because we haven't really successfully landed in that meme for a while now. We're getting there. It's starting to.
One of our community members wrote this article that I really liked, and I've already said this once in a video, but I'll put it here because it's kind of the devil concept is the structure that you've already seen through the addiction or the anger response to something or frustration. You already know better, and it's just in the moment you're tempted.
Oh yeah.
But you know better than acting that way. You know you're being a jerk when you do that. And maybe that's an expression of devil.
Like either protecting yourself from that card or protecting others from that card or just like protecting yourself from uncomfortable change. Like we start to build like a tower around ourselves, like a wall or a force field, like something that makes it easier to prevent us from moving forward. And when we get so far in our head, this is where we get to our tower card. We're trying to protect ourselves from the world, from the outside. We're trying to protect our concepts or our brain mindsets because, like, we've had the desire to move forward with the temperance, but then the negative aspect of the devil pulling it back and, like trying to create this barrier or this boundary. Sometimes we can't get out of that rut. We can't break it. And, like something has to happen to force us out of that. So that's where the tower comes in, or some people call it the Feld Tower. It means like being pushed out of that comfort zone, being pushed out of that boundary, because there's no other way.
It's not a case where the tower successfully protects you from everything. It's more to realize that nothing protects you, and it's like this seems to me like entering into subconscious realms, and transcending the idea of self-preservation because we all will die and suffer.
Yeah, it's like at certain point you can preserve your life all you want, but then what life are you preserving? It's, when you live and you're, like in the world, you're going to experience good and bad. And when you protect yourself from the bad, you also protect yourself from the good. And you just create all these barriers that are going to prevent you from moving forward. So sometimes we have to get forced out of that situation.
By the ugly.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure exactly if this is a more of a meme as it is a catalyst. I felt like a couple of these are more catalysts than memes, like the wheel and stuff, but I'll let you make.
Yeah, this is feeling like maybe a perimeter of the third tier to me. Like it's sort of becoming ego conscious or entering psyche consciousness to kind of get out of the whole edifice you've created,
Yeah,
structurally about how you understand things and start to go into nature, just actual nature, reality, consciousness,
or like it's
what
forcing
is.
us out of the I, me, my and into the us, we, them sort of
Yeah.
thing, which would be the next stage of development.
Integrating.
Yeah. So we start to slowly develop into this next transition, and that's where the star comes in handy. The stars, after we've been successfully kicked out of our tower, we're scared, it's dark, we don't know what's going on.
You get a star.
And we start seeing that there's a night sky.
Well, you're wobbling it all around. I can't get a fix on it.
See, so I'm trying.
Maniac.
The glare is kind of preventing, so I figured that might help.
There we go.
But yeah, you got this little naked chick, and she's pouring water out of the ground, using it to water the flowers, I guess. I don't
Got a little
know.
lumpy tummy.
There's some stars. Well, we got lumps, okay?
It's all right. I'm not mad.
Skinny bitch, and if she's gonna curl over like that, she's gonna have a little lump, okay? It's gonna happen.
I'm not mad. I was saying that in a positive sense.
Oh yeah.
Are those star clouds too?
Oh, I think they're just
There's
more
more
stars.
stars.
I think it's just supposed to show you that it's not all darkness. Like once your eyes adjusted to the darkness after you were kicked out of your tower, then you're starting to notice little pinpricks of light, little stars. It's not as dark and it's a little more illuminating. The world, is bigger out there. So it's not so bad that we're not in our tower anymore. That's essentially what this card's trying to tell us.
Okay.
So just a little bit of illumination going on. The next card is the moon card. So it's a little bit brighter than just the stars. We can see there's some wolves kind of howling. We've got
Oh, it
this.
was drawn by like a 9-year-old.
Oh yeah, no.
I could draw a better wolf than that. Look at their little buddies. What the hell?
Oh,
You ever seen a wolf before, bro?
No.
Oh, and then they also have the lobsters too. I love the lobsters.
Well,
I love lobsters so much.
oh yeah, you got your moon lobsters. They're like, hey guys, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
That's what lobsters do. It's a little more light than the stars, but just enough light to not completely see around you. So you've got like, if you can remember, like in the cartoon movie Snow White, when she was like through the woods and it was night,
Tripping.
she was scared and
She ate a bad mushroom. I saw this.
she thought that like these are all these like beasts that were coming to eat her and stuff. Like she was scared because she couldn't really see everything. She couldn't see that they're actually just cute little forest
Little
critters.
hoot owls.
So that's kind of like what the moon is. It's like beware of the shadow world. Like you're not going to see the full story. You're going to make assumptions. Some of it's going to be scary. Some of it's going to be just a little bit elusive, but kind of curious. And like it's okay to have those curiosities, but just be careful because you're not seeing the full picture. You're not getting the full story, sort of thing. So it's kind of
I
like,
know. I see that the moon's got these towers in there too.
oh yeah, so
It's
those
shining on towers.
yeah, so remember people are having some towers. They're not all collapsed. Yours is just
Okay.
flat. So you're kind of forced out of that comfort zone. But other people
Slid into the mud. So I built a new tower. That one also slid into the mud. So I built a third tower. That one.
the more we evolve and see the reality, the scarier it can be, and the more we have to learn. So again, kind of feeling like this is still a transition between the teal and the turquoise, but like I said, we might have some callbacks because we're starting to like evaluate the past. So
These seem to be more kind of like evergreens, like they've been with us the whole time, and maybe now we're more focused on them in this place, the moon,
or like, hey, you went through this with the magenta, but
Right. Yeah.
brain wasn't really ready to like digest this information. So now you're going through it again.
Here we're
with a
on
better
it. We're seeing it.
understanding of,
Yeah.
same type of thing with the star. Like that could easily be, you got a lot to learn, but it's going to be okay. So we're starting to see little callbacks, which is kind of what we're supposed to do with the teal. We're supposed to go back and do some healing between all these experiences that we've gone through.
Cleaning up,
Yeah, exactly. We're
shadow
cleaning up,
work,
which
shining moon and star on that business.
and so
So
that's
this
what
is all feeling, yeah, like pre third tier, moving into third tier kind of business, like like cleaning up. Yeah.
we've got. Essentially, we've got three more cards. The sun.
Hmm.
We've got a better illumination. We're able to see our surroundings a little bit better. We're able to understand what we're seeing. We're not making as many assumptions. We're not seeing like a little bit and having to, plug in other things to make it make sense, sort of thing. So we got a little baby.
Just simple as it seems.
He's a little baby, but he's holding this big old spear, like a big old spear, like red flag, sunflowers and happy stuff behind him. And like, of course, there's the sun. He looks kind of similar to the moon. They're close related, kind of. So we're not seeing the full picture. We're seeing the full picture.
They
So,
both look kind of like too big for their britches a little bit. They look kind of like judgy.
well, yeah, they're the focal point. So, like
Okay.
those eyes, you think you're gonna pass? You think you're
Like,
gonna
bro, you're a star. You're the sun, but you're also a star. Get like you're just closer.
pass? Like evaluated this. I've done the healing. I feel like I'm on the other side now. But then that's where we start with judgment. So judgment doesn't necessarily mean like I'm standing ready for conviction. It just means now I feel efficient enough to make these decisions. And this is where we start realizing, hey, I went through this incredible struggle with the tower and then the stars and then the moon and then the sun. You noticed those towers in the moon. And that's other people, that's your neighbors. So if you had to go through and break this tower, everybody around you is doing the same thing. They're building this tower. They're trying to protect their concepts and what they believed in because it's easier than having to scrap all that and do all this work.
You fucking sit in your tower. You fucking nap. What's funny?
A lot of people are going to be doing that. A lot of people are scared. A lot of people, like have gone through very different transitions. They've learned very different things, but they've still gone through it. And being able to like understand that and like how you interact with us, that's when we go from the I, me, mine to the us, they, them. So I feel like this card is we need to heal everyone. It's not just ourselves, but we're coming at it with a better of approach. Like it's not on a mass scale. I just donate more. I just do more. And it's not like the hanged man. It's more like, like I need to take this on a case by case basis. I need to address the individual who's having this problem. It needs to be just us. I can't just cookie cutter problem solve. Really starting to understand that everybody goes through this, like we are part of a whole and the whole is made up of individuals. Like God is inside of me, but it's also inside of everybody else, sort of thing. We're healing. It's not just judgment, it's being able to make a judgment. Like
Judgment's super important to me to where I place a judgment on the first of every habit on my calendar. We've got more clarity, illumination. We're now at a point where we're ready to make a judgment. When are you ready to make a judgment? If you were certain, there would be no decision, no judgment. You would just do the obvious thing. There's always uncertainty. And to me, the judgment is your choice. You don't know. You're not sure, but just pick one. Don't let it hang in the air. Like you got to do something. That's what I like that. And I think you should schedule those and script those. You should make judgments even though you don't know what you're doing. Nobody does.
we'll definitely make judgments because that's how we learn.
Yeah, you got to try.
It enforces ourselves. I think this was just like giving us permission to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
before
Yes.
we would still do it. We would still like this person's obviously aggressive or this person's obviously distraught. But now we can go back and actually make judgments like this person's aggressive because they feel trapped or they feel scared, or this person is this way because they've just never been shown something else. Like that's just how they've been developed.
Yeah, like this person is this way. I could cry about it. I could complain about it. So what am I going to do about it? Am I going to connect? Like that's the judgment, I think. Like,
The first book I read about the dynamics, it was basically a management tool. It was like use this to understand how to like lead, how to like incentivize or like explain your expectations, everybody's going to be motivated by different factors. Everybody's going to be, access something differently, and being able to pull that out and understand, like, hey, this person's going to react like this because this is what they went through, sort of thing. I think that's where like turquoise really comes in. It's not just healing ourselves, it's healing the people we interact with and like the world on a broader scale, which brings me to the next one, the world. I think this is a glimpse. I could be definitely wrong, but this one's kind of hinting at coral, I think. Like there's still some mystery, there's still some we don't know about this, we're not familiar with this, but it's like unity on a broader scale. I feel like as we go through the phases and we go between, like, those little ball desk things where you've got like all the balls.
Newton demonstrator.
It's going back and forth at like a pendulum, but as it goes back and forth, it slowly narrows down, or it goes faster or slower. Like it's not going to be as drastically different each time. Magenta versus red, very, very drastically different. First, I went to I can only survive as a group and a culture, to I need to go off and do my own thing by myself completely, pave the way, different. So those two are drastically different. And as we go through the different memes, the teeter isn't as significant. It's not as big. I think as we get closer to whatever the coral is, or the world, which is, like the final chapters, I don't know when dynamics will actually end. We only know what we know so far.
And then for all you watching at home, the indigo and coral would be the analog.
Oh, so it's indigo then? My bad.
In this one, coral and indigo. And not all the spiral dynamics include coral either. Like you're saying, the spiral dynamics is specifically a business application, a management application of this concept. Yeah.
It comes in handy a lot. My job, I talk to strangers all day, and I have to explain a very complex government structure to people who don't have a lot of time to learn about it in advance. So it's like dealing with retirement, dealing with the rest of life, it's very scary. So the way this person's talking to me, like, I've got this background that's leading to this. So how do I make this safe for them? Like I might just start talking numbers, start talking like that. Or maybe I'll say, hey, you know what? You're not going to break this. Or somebody who's feels like they have to have control, but they're so scared of it, being able to say, you know what, let me do the driving. I'm going to take care of this. Like I had someone say, I don't even know where to go. There's different approaches.
Being a Swiss Army knife person. Yeah. Swiss Army man.
And the more you do it, the more you evaluate, the easier it becomes. So like,
it's all the same. Yeah. Spiral dynamics is a stage map of human values. So self, culture, and nature. They're applying it to human management, collaboration. And it's excellent for that. It's excellent for all that, and you see it bleed over in all these other things too.
Beck originally, like, he liked it for both the developmental, mental, as well as the spiritual. They actually worked pretty close together until I guess 2009, when they had like that big difference of opinions, and then Kilver just went off and said, "I'm just focusing on the spiritual part." Of it. So that's kind of where things parted ways. But
Beck's like the bridge, between those two interests.
Whenever you're in a position where you have to lead somebody, even if it's just leading them to the answers, definitely comes in handy.
Yeah, we've arrived at the world illuminated by the stars and the sun and the moon, with all these different forces. I think this is the big come together, maybe.
Yeah, so maybe,
and as it truly is.
Get enough people through the judgment phase, through the ability to make those rationalizations. How is our society going to work as a whole with a bunch of like-minded individuals just, trying to, get to the other side and explain things and heal? Like, what happens when we have enough healers? Like, the world is the bigger picture with enough people to make those judgments and to make that healing.
Who's this chicken god? What all these like cloud what are these the beasts?
Oh yeah, so we've got like a griffin. We've got
Praetor. Praetor griffin.
I think that one's just like an angel or
He-Man.
something.
I think that's He-Man. Yeah, maybe it's just a man or a person.
We got a liger and a goat. So we got like
they did not know how to draw lion noses back then.
I think
that's a goat.
I think
it's like a little cow baby or something. Like I don't know, man.
If I got the instructions, I probably know more, but yeah. Courage, fortitude, you got
the Harry Potter houses.
You got your ability to see the bigger picture, like an eagle's eye view sort of thing. They're all in the clouds. There's a reef, so there's like a celebration sort of thing because that's when you make your wreaths and you don them and you run around.
Re-enter
Chicken
the marketplace with
manifestation.
open arms.
Yeah, chicken. I think the naked's also resembling like vulnerability and honesty, like,
Hmm.
just being able to be yourself and being able to, proceed that with, other people who are not afraid to be vulnerable. They're not afraid to
Now,
be
her
honest.
privates are covered up,
So that's
but
because we
she's just
don't know.
classy. She's a
But that's
classy lady.
because we actually don't know if it's a female or a male. It's a
Uh-huh.
mystery.
Hmm.
So
Keeping
it's
keeping
also
it
supposed to
secret.
symbolize that, even when we've uncovered all this, we're still not going to know all the answers. There's still some kind of secret. There's a major arcana. It's the major secrets.
It's got a
So
rockin' bosom in any
yeah,
event, whichever.
definitely, definitely rockin' bosom. I'm proud of her. She worked hard.
The world
So
is a trans personal.
and then like so and then the whole thing is after you go through and you make this big realization, again,
Hmm.
you realize that in the end, all we know is that we
Start
know
again.
nothing and we have to go through it again. So,
Such a sham. It's such a joke. Like, the hell?
but it's just like, like your little novice guy, he went through all this development. He went through all of this,
Yeah.
like, studying and development. And then, like, at the end, realizing, like, hey, we can still get here. We're still doing this. But in the end, we're still missing stuff. We still have to grow. We still have to change. Um,
Every aqualatus, everything. Yeah. Ken Wilber likes to put one way of articulating the experience, like the big experience is it's like, oh, that the thing that's always been there no matter what. Yeah,
yeah,
that's stupid.
regardless of being
Okay.
bored or not.
Yeah. The fool. I was there all along. The avatar. That's
The
who it
whole
was.
time, our little guy.
It was the butler.
Rebirthing process or the reincarnation process, the concept of a soul entering the universe, learning all these lessons, going back into the fold and doing it again, sort of thing. Like, that's why he's coming from the ether. Like he's a reincarnated, just starting out, fresh soul. He's not going to have all the 100% memories of everything.
Worlds make fools. Worlds are machines designed to pump out fools. That's my narrative.
So we should never not be a fool. We should never like see
Yeah.
like, hey, we know
You can't
everything.
help it anyway. The more you think you're not a fool, the more you're being a damn fool
Yeah,
or
it's
a
always
devil
like that.
or a
Proceed
hangman.
forward like you're not afraid to be wrong. Like, because we're gonna be wrong. And once we
Yeah.
can accept that, then we're gonna be okay.
We're gonna shut the door, keep out the devil.
Did
Shut
you?
the door, keep the devil in the night.
I actually don't think I know that song.
Light a candle, everything's all right. Oh, it's beautiful. Just give it a listen sometime, all you out there, and Spencer and me. I'm gonna listen to. Such a good song. We should all sing it together in life.
Aw.
Well, guys, I think that we've been on Think Me, and I think we did the whole Tarot Major Arcana successfully, and now we're out of time.